Hi, everyone, and welcome to The Balancing Act. I'm Olga Villaverde.
And I'm Montel Williams.
Today, how continuous glucose monitors are changing the way those with diabetes live their lives.
And we're learning more about reverse mortgages.
And Chef Ralph.
Ralphie's in the house.
I am feeling spicy this morning as I prep a flavorful holiday meal.
Oh, sounds delicious.
I know, I really want that Chipotle barbecue rub.
I'm telling you.
It's hot and spicy, and so is the show, and it starts
right now.
There you go. One in 10 people in the United States have diabetes, and the daily care of this disease, which includes tracking blood glucose levels, diet, and medication, can be quite taxing.
And thankfully, with the help of new technology, people with diabetes can better take control of their disease and their lives.
Today, both a patient and a doctor perspective as we head to New York and Ohio to hear their firsthand experiences of living with and managing diabetes.
Take a look at this.
David Padilla has been living with type 2 diabetes for 20 years.
Initially, getting diagnosed with diabetes was a big shock because not a lot of people knew what that was. All I kept hearing was, you can't have any more sugar or desserts. Trying to figure out how to manage all of this information on this disease with very little, and remember, I'm an engineer, so I like to have a lot of data, and the only data I have is a couple of finger sticks this morning telling me what my blood glucose was at that particular time, and that was it. Here, where I live in New York, all this food that's available, and now I have to think about it. I can't just walk in and enjoy it.
Dr. Thomas Grace, who is not David's doctor, is all too familiar with the disease. Not only does he specialize in the education and treatment of diabetes, prediabetes, and obesity, he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at age 3.
It was very challenging 40 years ago for my parents to have to care for someone like myself, having to help me check my blood glucose levels several times a day. Diabetes is a chronic, lifelong illness affecting glucose regulation in the body. What normally happens when we eat food is it gets digested and turned into sugar, and our body uses that sugar as energy. In people with diabetes, they're not able to get that sugar efficiently out of their bloodstream and turn it into energy because they don't have enough insulin. Type 1 diabetes is when the body makes little or no insulin at all. Patients with type 1 diabetes are dependent on taking insulin to regulate their glucose readings. Type 2 diabetes is when the body isn't able to use the amount of insulin that is produced efficiently, or the body itself doesn't make enough insulin, which ends up raising glucose levels. Early indicators of developing diabetes include increased thirst, frequent urination, which is driving that thirst. Patients are losing weight when they're not trying to. Patients commonly complain that they're fatigued and tired throughout the day. They have dry skin. Patients also complain that they may have blurry vision. They may have wounds that aren't healing as well, or sores that are developing that are unexplained.
Some of the symptoms that I experienced were dizziness, a little bit of disorientation. I was, sometimes I was a little extra tired, a little sleepy, and not sure what was really going on until I started to correlate that with my diabetes and when I was eating the wrong foods.
Traditional treatment and management of diabetes can be time-consuming and frustrating.
Finger sticks became easy to do at home. And believe me, it's a routine because I even went out and got a belly pack thing to wear because I had to have a place to carry the meter and the finger stick things and the strips. And then you can't just leave them on the table at a restaurant, you know, because they've got blood on them. So I had to figure out how to carry something to dispose of these things. And so it adds another large level of difficulty to someone's life that becomes diabetic. I love to eat out, I'm a foodie, but it becomes very difficult when you're trying to figure out what you can eat. And by the way, how long ago was it that you ate your last meal or snack? And when is your next one? So all those calculations, even being an engineer, became very tough for me, very frustrating and depressing, actually.
Treatment options for both types can include taking insulin, managing diet, regular exercise, and more.
Traditionally, type 1 diabetes is treated through a variety of things, including medications, which is really only insulin, glucose management, we need to monitor our blood glucose levels, physical activity, and proper dietary choices. And when it comes to type 2 diabetes, we also want to monitor glucose readings. We pay close attention to food choices, physical activity, and manage medications. The combination of proper food choices, physical activity, and medications is the three-armed component of treating someone with type 2 diabetes. It's also very important for them to know their glucose readings, which we ask them to measure throughout the day.
So what's new in the treatment of diabetes?
A leader in diabetes care technology, Dexcom, and its innovative continuous glucose monitoring, or CGM systems, are now empowering patients like David to take control of their condition.
As opposed to the traditional finger stick, we are able to now continuously monitor our blood glucose readings throughout the day. It's really been an advantage to those of us with diabetes to see what's happening in real time, and we can make adjustments on the fly instead of relying on the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 finger sticks that we were able to get throughout the day. We can now continuously see what happens after we eat such a food, or after we take our medications, or after we have physical activity. And this has really been a game changer for people with diabetes. The Dexcom G6 is a continuous glucose monitoring system that is sending a glucose reading from the patient's body to a receiver, which could either be a smartphone or a device provided by the company. It's a small patch that's basically very discreet, and it's giving us information in real time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The patch lasts 10 days, and it's easy to use. Using the Dexcom G6 system helps patients spend more time in range. It helps them lower their A1C, and it helps them do better with their diabetes.
A one-touch applicator easily inserts a slim sensor wire just beneath the skin, which will then continuously measure glucose levels and send data wirelessly to a display device through a transmitter.
Some of the amazing features of the Dexcom G6 continuous glucose monitoring system include no more calibration needed. We've alleviated the need to poke our finger and calibrate this system, which is amazing.
And patients receive a 20-minute advance warning of a potential severe hypoglycemic event.
So I start hearing about this new G6 coming out from Dexcom, and the real biggie was it was going to be 10 days instead of 7. I can tell you that the G6, I can count on it. I always have my smartphone or a receiver with me, so I know what the readings are. It's been a godsend for me and a lot of people.
In fact, David has been able to decrease his insulin intake thanks to the data his Dexcom G6 provides.
Dexcom has become my partner. Literally, it sits right here beside me all the time, and I depend on it, and I won't go anywhere without my partner. I really feel like I got my life back. It's easy to use, and I just love this device, the G6.
I've seen significant improvements in my own glucose readings, and I've seen even more improvements in my patients' lives using continuous glucose monitoring. Talk to your doctor. Ask them if Dexcom G6 continuous glucose monitoring could be right for you.
Our thanks to David for sharing his journey, and to Dr. Grace for giving us more insight about how Dexcom has helped both his patients and himself.
And for more information about Dexcom, you can go to Dexcom.com. And of course, you can always go to our website, thebalancingact.com.
We'll be right back.
Well, listen, spices are the only food product used at every meal, so the ones you choose really matter. With families gathering, it's time to get creative in the kitchen, and right now, joining me is Jeannie Nelson. She's the VP of Operations and the General Manager at Morton Bassett, who has all the spicy secrets to successfully up your cooking game. Welcome, Jeannie. This is fantastic.
Thank
I'm so happy to have you here today.
I'm so happy to be here.
Now, listen, I am ahead of the game because I happen to know all about your spices, because if you go into my house and you you open up the cupboard and you look into my pantry, all you find is M&B everywhere. I got the big jars, the little jars, the irregular jars, the extracts. Tell me about it. Tell me what makes your product so great.
Our company was founded by Mort, and he started the company about 30 years ago, and he loved to entertain, probably like yourself.
A little bit.
And what he found is when he went to the grocery store, he really couldn't find a premium quality spice, and so he decided to basically do it himself.
Amazing.
Yeah, and so he founded the company with two things in mind. Quality, obviously, and service. And that's part of what I love about Morton Bassett and getting to work with Morton Bassett is he's still like working on those same principles, and not only service to our customers, but service to the community. He does a great job. We're socially and environmentally responsible, and it's just really great to be part of a company like that and be able to put such a wonderful product in a jar.
Yeah, that's amazing, because people might think that spices are too expensive, right? Or the quality of the spice that they buy doesn't matter. But I know 100% that is zonk wrong, right? Spices matter.
Right. I mean, spices are such an important part of our life. And when you have great quality spices, you're going to make great quality food.
Indeed. You know, everybody talks about, cooking and gathering around, especially as the holidays, right? But it's such an olfactory sensation, right? The smell, the salivation. Like just right now, right? We've cooked this beautiful turkey, by the way. This is a good-looking bird right now. But the smell of sage just transmits me and brings me everywhere. And, you've got 200 different varieties in here between the thymes and the garam masalas and the vanilla beans. When's Mort ever going to stop?
Right. I hope never. It's one of the things. You look at our spices and you can just look and you can see the quality, right?
All right. So Turkish bay leaves. Let me take a look at these for 1 second. They smell fantastic. Now, are these are hand-packed, right?
They're absolutely hand-packed. So each bay leaf that goes in this jar is actually hand-selected, hand-packed. Every product that comes through the factory is touched in some way, shape, or form because we need to check out the quality and make sure that we have superior quality in every jar. You know the other thing that's great about our spice? We're salt-free. There's no salt in any of our blends. So if you pick up a blend at the grocery store, a lot of times you look at it and the first ingredient on there, what is it?
Salt.
Salt, right?
Boo.
I like my food heavily spiced, but my husband, he's got high blood pressure, right? So I can't spice my food to the level that I like because then it's actually going to end up too salty. Right? With our blends, I can spice it as much as I like and then add the salt after the fact.
One of the things, a new item out, or maybe a new item into my world that I used with this beautiful bird right here is, you see some say rose, is the poultry herb seasoning with rose petals up inside of it. Tell me, where'd that even come from? Because I like to mishmash my stuff, and that one's great.
Yeah, it's a great spice. I actually, believe it or not, I'll use it in barbecue chicken as well. It's great. It's universal. It's not just for the holidays. We've got so many spices. That's the thing about spices, right? They're as complicated as you want them to be. You can make your custom blends. You can do all sorts of spicy stuff with it. You can use a lovely blend, or like we did today with the sweet potato casserole.
Well, let me tell you about that. So we've got garam masala sweet potato casserole. So it's the sweet potatoes. There's some butter living up inside of there. Activates that garam masala nice,
right.
And then the marshmallows on top and toasted pecans. And don't forget about a bundt cake over here with all the pumpkin pie spices, right? That's allspice and ginger, nutmeg, all here. Another one that I like to do is, it's not just for food, right? It could go for drinks. So, all the rage right now is the mule, right? Everybody loves the mule. So we made a mule over here, and we've used good old-fashioned vodka. I happen to love it. And then combined it with nutmeg and allspice and mace and ginger and some fresh apple and cinnamon. And it's really quite the delicious combination. I love it. And the turkey is great. For more information, what's your website? Where can viewers go?
Sure. You can go to mortonbassett.com, and you'll find a nice selection of all of our spices. You've got anything from our minis to our nice glass jars here.
This is the time where I usually do a little quick bite, but instead I'm going to do a little quick cheers. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays.
And for more information, you can always visit our website, thebalancingact.com.
Well, today we're learning about the advantages and disadvantages of reverse mortgage in a way that's easy to understand. Your journey to home equity conversion mortgage, HECM, also known as reverse mortgage, should start with research. Informed decisions are good decisions. And Scott Harkless, Chief Revenue Officer at Open Mortgage, is here to help walk us through the process. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Look, let's get started first by establishing what is a reverse mortgage.
A reverse mortgage is just a mortgage. It's a mortgage designed for homeowners that are 62 years of age or older and who have equity in their home and want to be able to tap into that equity to further their retirement goals. And we know that the HECM is actually designed to meet the challenges that they are finding in even today's market. In fact, if you think about it, today's market has many challenges. There's inflation that is rising. Savings are being diminished. People are living longer. They need to be able to tap into the place that they have stored the bulk of their wealth, their home.
Gotcha.
They need to be able to do that to further all of their retirement goals. And the truth of the matter is the reverse mortgage has that as its very purpose.
Wow, well, now there's some interesting stats around home equity. Not to mention that the fact is 1 in 3 Americans have less than $5,000 or less saved for retirement. So you're offering a little bit of different financial strategy.
Yes. And in fact, we consider it a moral imperative. This strategy is a moral imperative. Seniors built this country. We all rest and stand on the shoulders of the giants that went before us. But as they enter into their golden years, we have to make sure that they are never in a position where they have to sell their home to access the wealth in their home.
Got it.
And right now, home equity is at an all-time high. That's good news.
Absolutely.
And even better is that homeowners 62 years of age or older have actually $9 trillion in equity trapped in their home. And we want to help them release that equity so that they can do the home improvements that they need to do to be able to age in place, that they can fund the retirement lifestyle. Let me give you an example real quick.
Sure.
My aunt lives on the coast of California. She lives in a 3-story home.
Okay.
She's over 80 years of age. She was having a very difficult time getting from the first floor to the second floor to the third floor. She wanted to put an elevator in place, didn't have the savings for it, didn't want to add to her monthly obligations. The reverse mortgage allowed her to access the equity in her home, pay for that elevator, and now she's able to retire in the community that she loves with all the neighbors that she loves in the home that she loves. That's what a reverse mortgage does for seniors.
Well, now, how does it work exactly?
Well, a reverse mortgage is a mortgage. We recommend going to a local advisor, a reverse mortgage professional, that will look at your financial statements, that will look at your credit history, that will look at your home value and see if it is designed properly for you. We believe in responsible lending to this end.
Okay.
And let me say this, a reverse mortgage is really available for people 62 years of age or older, but there's a lot of consumer protections in place, and people need to be aware of those consumer protections. Those consumer protections include home counseling that is done by a HUD-approved home counselor that will see if the reverse mortgage actually obtains the goals that you're setting out for. We believe in this consumer protection. Secondly, there are some myths, frankly, that are out there. There's some myths that the lender will take your home. That's not true. As long as you pay taxes, insurance, and you pay all your HOA dues, as long as you live responsibly, nobody will ever take your home. You can stay in your home as long as you want. If the housing market crashes, if it does better, the truth of the matter is you will never owe more than your home is worth. Neither you or your heirs will ever owe more than the home is actually worth. It's a great tool.
There's plenty of companies out there. I mean, what sets you apart?
We are a top 10 national reverse mortgage lender. We believe in the product. We do the full array of mortgage products, but we believe in the reverse mortgage product because we believe in helping people retire responsibly and in a way that they deserve. We don't believe people should be forced to sell their homes. And so we hire reverse mortgage professionals that put the senior at the centermost. Here's the other piece. Open Mortgage is a family-owned company. We're not beholden to Wall Street. So we're able to put people over profits. We're able to look at your situation and design, tailor-make a reverse mortgage just for you and help you obtain those goals that you want. That's why reverse mortgage professionals are coming to Open Mortgage in droves, and that's why consumers appreciate the service and advice they're getting from our reverse mortgage professionals.
Wow. Well, now, if our viewers wanted to get some more information, where would they go?
They would go to openreverse.com. At openreverse.com, we actually have articles, we have videos, we have all the educational material you'll need to see whether this is something that's responsible for you to use. It'll also help you at openreverse.com get connected to a local reverse mortgage professional, somebody that you can hold accountable at the local level. We don't even have a call center. Go to openreverse.com and find out where the nearest reverse mortgage professional is for you.
Wow. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Sure. And if you want more information, you can always go to our website, thebalancingact.com. Well, thanks so much for joining us today.
Remember to head to our Facebook page, like us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, and visit thebalancingact.com to enter our latest sweepstake or giveaway because...
Prizes.
That's right.
There you go. Look, be safe. Love that family of yours. We'll see you next time.